I think about the people that have cared most for me and uh, the people that are closest to me that I also want to take care of in the future. I'm not saying that these people are not my blood ties, like they are my mother, my father, my brother, but there's like extended relatives too that
Mhm.
sometimes I don't really consider family.
I see. So are you living with your parents right now or?
But no, I live by myself.
Oh, okay. I also moved out too. But I think the word family is a big word. And like you mentioned, there are so many different aspects to it. There are a lot of different ways people define it. But back then, when I look at the word family, and it's a big thing for me, it's my drive for everything that I've done, that I'm doing, and I will do in the future. But I used to think that paying back for my family was me graduating from a big school, making them proud, being the first gen in the family, and making good income so I can provide for them. But I remember at a time when I sat down with my mentor for the first time, he asked me this one question and I was frozen. He said, "Van, do you know how much your parents make?" And I didn't know because I never had that kind of conversation with my mom or my dad before. And he said, Did you know that in order for you to provide or take care of somebody, you need to know exactly how much their expenses are? You make the same amount on top of your personal expenses, and you go tell them, hey, you stay at home, I got this figured out. That's a way of paying back. But let's say if we just use the word pay back or take care, that could mean a lot of different things, like you mentioned before. Let's say buying a new jacket for our loved ones is a way of paying back. Washing dishes for them is also a way of paying back. Or let's say graduating from a big university, making them feel good for one day is also paying back. And then my mentor, he said, I also want the same thing like you, pay back, take care, make my family proud of me. But instead of making my mom and dad feel good for one day when I cross the stage, I take care of their future by making them full-time mom and dad for me. I also want to, take them out to eat just like you, but not only on weekend when we both don't have work. I can afford to take them out on a Tuesday afternoon if I wanted to. And we never have to look at the menu from right to left. We don't have to look at the price before the food. And when it comes to traveling, a lot of us, yeah, we can afford to buy a flight ticket for our loved one, but not a lot of people can afford to be there on the same flight. And a lot of people, they may be able to fly together, go on vacation together with their family, but they cannot afford to be there 100% mentally with them. Because you know how when we go to work, we have that stress and pressure from our work, and we carry that with us when we with our family. And then my mentor, he said, but that's only for the current family. But what about your future family? And I'm not sure if this is something that you thought of or you consider already. But for me, when I met my mentor, I was only 19, and I came from a divorced family, so long-term commitment and marriage was not really my thing at the time. But then he asked me, "What's your life partner standard?" And I was like, "Wait, what? Never thought about that." But then he said, um, "A lot of people our age, like young people, we easily get into relationship, or we have like young people right now, they deal with things like situationship, or we get into one relationship, after we break up, we get into another one, like easily move on and find that emotional replacement without, completely healing ourselves. Or some people, they just, constantly feeling insecure when they in a relationship, and they have all kinds of trust issues with their girlfriend, boyfriend, whatsoever. And he asked me, "Do you know why people deal with that right now, like these days?" And I'm like, "I don't, because I wasn't in a relationship before, so I didn't know." And he said, "It's because you, like other people, you guys don't have something called a life partner standard for yourself. So you easily get into something and you quickly move on. Because when you don't stand for something, you fall for anything." And so those things I never really thought about before. But then this one thing he said that really stuck with me. He said, people my age, By the way, by the time I met him, he was already in his 30s. But he said people my age, how they flex with other people is by showing off the bags, the shoes, the house, the cars they got for their wife. For me, those things are cheap. I can always get them. But the one thing that I can get for my partner that a lot of people can't do is I can sit there for hours on end listening to my wife, being emotional or venting out to me, being whatsoever. And I don't get frustrated. And I can talk to her to understand her love language, even though we are completely two different people. The reason is not because I was born with unlimited amount of patience, but because I don't have to deal with the stress and mental pressure from work. So I'm 100% there with my life partner. And my friends, in order for them to afford the bag, the shoes, the cars, the house, they have to trade their time, their health, their mental capacity for their boss's business. So by the time they get home, they don't have that much left for their family. And when I hear that, it just remind me of my own family. Because growing up, I always see my parents. They either be being super cold to each other, or when they talk, they start fighting really quick. My mom gets irritated by just one little thing my dad said, and the other way around. And I didn't know why as a kid, but as I grow older, I realized it's not because they were born short temper, but because they are trained from work. So when they get home, they don't have any of that left for their family, for their loved ones. And it's just a small thing, but if you zoom out here, Andy, I'm not sure if you ever question yourself, but will the job or the career you pick allow you to live the life that you want, or at least have the family that you want, being the life partner that you want, being the kind of dad that you want? Because me at a time when I pick nursing, the only factors I look at is just the job title itself and the finance that comes with it, potential income. That's all I look at. But let's say if it's not family, what about relationship? Because I know you mentioned this is another thing that's important for you. But when you mentioned the word relationship, like what are you thinking of? Like friends?
My relationship with God, my relationship with my friends. Yeah.
Okay. Are you Christian?
It's,
Okay. Sounds like you're very religious. Do you think you are?
yeah, I think I'm pretty religious.
Okay. I'm Buddhist. But I think I've gone to church once because that one time my roommate at Davis, she wanted me to go, so I came and I actually enjoyed it. And I do believe in God as well. Which is weird. But anyways. Um, okay. Um, I'm not sure how you define like friendship or a best friendship or a soulmate. Um, for me, I'm gonna be honest, back then, before I started my business, I was a pretty introverted person. And so socializing wasn't my greatest strength. Wasn't my strength at all, actually. It was really hard for me to just start conversation, make new friends, or really have a deep connection with anybody because I had a lot of overthinking and insecurities to really open up and being transparent or really know how to ask questions to get to know somebody in a deeper level. But later on, when I get the chance to meet my mentor and set up my own business and work with a lot more people, I realized that there are so many people that different from me. Yes, but because I get to work with people like that, I get to learn about their love language, their background, why they become the people that they are, or why they have, that certain way of reacting or responding to the same situation like me. Or it's just who they are as a person. So getting the chance to learn about different personalities, different people, and also I learned the definition of a true friendship. Because back then my friends I hung around with, they usually the people that I would hit the gym with, would go get boba, would talk craps about guys together. I'll be honest. So that's the friends I had back then. Um, we did talk about other things too, like just ourselves. But until when I started my business, I met my mentor. Um, for the first time, I started having conversations with friends about my future. about the kind of family I want to have, about the kind of house I want to buy, about my goals, about Van at 25, at 30, at 35, the kind of woman, the kind of leader that I want to become. And for it felt weird in the beginning, but for the first time I felt, wow, I have this group of people that we can talk about not dramas, not music, not movie, not K drama, but talk about our future. Talk about the goals, the visions, and the things that we want to achieve in life. And for me, that was beautiful to have. Um, but I think it's different for everybody. And I realized too another thing is when we have friends either from school or from job, most of the time the reason why our friendships stay alive is because we have the same class or because we work at the same place. But when one person moves to the next level, the next phase of their life, that's usually the connection start to fade out. It's not that you guys don't talk anymore, you guys stop being friends, but it's just because of life, we forced to not spend as much time with each other anymore. We forced to not talk or be there for each other as we used to, if you know what I'm talking about. So for me, I think I love having that kind of lifelong friendship too, where we get to maybe not seeing each other all the time, every day, 24/7, but at least we have that common thing, maybe the core values, maybe the life goals that we can talk about, that we can um, be there for each other. But fitness too, I think you're probably somebody who's really into taking care of your health. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. But why I'm asking is because I think as a young person, I didn't really care about, taking care of my, it's not that I don't care about my health, but if you ask me, oh, do I eat junk food and worry about, how that will affect my body? Not really. As a young person in their early 20s, no. But as I started working full time in corporate and start to experience those, body pain and fatigue, having to stand for a long period of time, or just, having a lot of, I wouldn't say body injuries, but just that pain, the physical pain of working a full-time job. Uh, that's when I started to appreciate my health more. And also my dad, he actually had a stroke as well for a couple months now, and it changed his life and my life completely. I saw the same man just last year who was still able to go to work, see his friends on the weekend, and call me to nag me, come home. The same man now, he cannot talk, cannot move, is bedridden. So it was, did I see that coming? No, I did not. And so I think it taught me a lot after what happened to my dad. But I think these things are really important. But when it comes to picking a career, I don't think a lot of us will consider this as a factor, whether or not the job we pick, the career we choose, allow us to take care of our health the way we want to. Because I think my dad is not because just he's unlucky that he had a stroke, but it was years of sleepless night or the stress he got from work or the labor he had to go through in order to just, keep up with life and providing for our family. And so that's the accumulation of all of that. But again, just to zoom out a little bit, I don't share these things to put down school or job, any career specifically. I respect nursing still, and that's still one of my passion is to take care and give back to people. But I'm sharing this is because I think at the end of the day, whether it's nursing, doctor, lawyer, CPA, or even being a business owner, I don't think that should be the end goal. I don't think that should be the question we ask ourselves at 18, which is what you want to do. But it should be how we want to live our life. Because the career that you pick, Andy, that will determine the lifestyle that you live for the next 30, 40, 50 years. And not just you, but also your kids. Because you didn't realize the life that we also living, the kind of home that we grew up in, is the result of our parents' choices with their career as well, with their, I don't know, their choice with personal growth or whatever. But that's when I got the chance to listen to all this or realize this, That's when I start to really question myself too, which is, how do I really define success and happiness? Will money be the answer for everything? And um, just a quick question for you, but let's say if you were to um travel from where you live to, let's say, school, which vehicle do you usually pick
Pardon, can you repeat that one more time?
when you go from home to school? Which vehicle do you pick?
I well, I live on like very close to campus
So
because
you
I'm
walk?
yeah, I walk.
Okay. But let's say, how about when you go from Seattle to Texas?
Airplane.
Airplane? Why don't you walk?
Why don't I walk to Texas?
Hmm.
It would take too much time.
True. Seems like a silly question, right? But isn't it true that there are different vehicles to the same destination? Because from Seattle to Texas, you can walk, you can drive, you can bike, you can take the plane. But then flying is the best option. However, when you go to school, then maybe driving will be better or even walking. So the only way for us to really know which one is the best vehicle is we need to figure out where we're going first and when we need to get there. Because let's say if you have 3 days to go to Texas, then you can take your time to drive. I mean, yeah, to drive. But if you say you need to get to Texas within the next couple hours, then definitely you need to fly there. So it's the same. It sounds so simple. It's the same concept applies to our life. But a lot of us, me included, 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't know where I was going, but I already chose my vehicle, which is nursing. And I see a lot of people right now. I'm working with a lot of people, college students, there are professionally working people. Believe it or not, there are people that in their 30s I'm working with. And when I ask them, how do you see yourself living in the next 40? I mean, not next 40, but when you're, let's say, in your 40s, they don't know. They okay with still renting an apartment, drive that used car, and they don't have any plan for, let's say, buying a house or where that house would be. Because let's say buying a house in Seattle or California, a medium three, let's say average 3 bed, 2 bed is about 1.2 millions, and down payment is 20%. So that's about 250K. So let's just say your goal is to be able to buy your own house in the next 10 years. So whatever that you do, you need to figure out 250K sitting in your bank account in the next 10 years. But then if your goal was to buy a house in Texas, for example, 250K is already enough for you to pay off the whole house over there. So different destination, different vehicle, different process, different journey, different hustle. But people, I don't think a lot of us, we question that. And that's just only about housing. I'm just giving out an example. But what about traveling? What about the quality of relationship that you have with people around you? Will the job that you have allow you the time, the capacity for you to build, let's say, communication skills, so you can talk and work with people different personality than you to understand them? What about time management, priority management, budgeting, financial, game planning, like those soft skills? I think those are very important for us to maintain any relationship too. Because I think as a young person, let's just say if we are in a relationship with somebody, I think it's much easier than us in our late 20s and being in a serious committed relationship, because that's when we talk about finance. And if let's say our partner is somebody who not only they are demanding in terms of, finance, but they're also demanding in terms of emotional maturity and emotional availability. I see that's where a lot of people they fail, because they don't know how to communicate properly. They don't know how to still or have that mental toughness to stay and clarify when their partners start to be emotional and, say stuff that offends them. For example, I saw that in my parents. I saw that in my brother and my sister-in-law and my cousins. So just these little things in life, like the wheel that I showed you earlier, I think these are the things that are really important and what will make up or consider as your destination. Because I think we could make a lot of money. But let me ask you this question, Andy. If let's say you got offer a job in one of the largest, like let's say engineering or software, whatever companies in America, you got paid like 150K a year. But in return, you have to miss, let's say, your dad's birthday because, you know, for any corporate job, it comes with big money, comes with big responsibility. So how would you feel about that? Do you want to miss your dad's birthday?
I don't want to, but I probably would.
And I think that's the answer. That's one of the most real answers. That's something that a lot of us are doing every day. We're making those sacrifices to maintain our income, maintain our lifestyle. But then when I met my mentor, I realized that there's another way where you can both afford a lifestyle, but at the same time, you have that peace of mind. You have that freedom of choices, how you want to spend your time, how you can be as a person in any relationship, because that comes with personal growth. That comes with, growing soft skills so that we can, maintain our relationship with anybody around us. Um, but yeah, I think I don't want to make this any longer, but I just want to share these things because if you still stay like focused, pay attention until now, you probably understand that for our business, we just not focusing on sales or products or marketing strategy only. Simply put, we don't just look to make money alone, but we want to really build a better lifestyle by becoming a better version of ourselves. Because I think there are so many ways to make money. You can just start picking up a side job. You can start picking up extra shifts. You can start any online business, start selling anything that will make you extra income right away. But to build a better lifestyle that not only has money, but you also has that time, has that freedom of choices, have that peace of mind to really enjoy your time and your money, that's something else. And that's what we really focusing on. And so I hope this talk will, I guess, like make you think a little bit more about the question I asked you earlier. And it's already long already, but maybe after today, you can take some time to think about our conversation. But if you think that there's something maybe resonated with you, and this is something that, uh, like I mentioned, my or our values, our goals, if any of that resonates with you, maybe we can find another time to meet and talk more about the business itself. But today, I think we can keep it for now since it's already a long meeting. What do you think?
Um, I don't mind staying just an extra 5 minutes if you don't mind me asking a couple questions as well.
Hmm.
But firstly, I do appreciate you guys reaching out and also you guys taking the time to have this conversation over call as well. It was pretty insightful. And yeah, to be honest, like some of these questions are questions that I haven't asked myself in a long time. And it's good because when you're at UW, you get pulled into this headspace and you're all about engineering or finding a job and networking for that purpose. And I haven't really thought about, what I want my future life to be, not career. So I think these are really great, insightful questions that you're asking me. So thank you. Um, at the very beginning of this call session, you asked me what do I value in a partnership or relationship and maintaining that. And then my answer was mutual trust and mutual understanding, mutual respect. And I do believe I shared a bit about my life with you guys. So I thought it'd be fair if I asked you guys the same question. Earlier, you mentioned you're in sales and marketing. And also, you also mentioned this isn't exactly a job interview, which I completely understand. This is not a job interview at all from what I experienced. But my question is, what is your aim with this conversation that we're trying to have today? What,
Hmm.
what are you hoping to get out of it? Because I have something that I'm hoping to gain out of it, which was insight as to what you guys do, insight as to how I could become an entrepreneur, how I could further myself and diversify my income stream, maybe, or diversify how I want to live my life by opening myself up to different options. So I wanted to ask you guys whether you want to scope it down or further up. What's your objective, I guess?
I see. Thank you for asking that. I didn't want you to leave the room feel super confused, but didn't, want to ask the question. I can keep this a short answer and not make it super long or more confusing for you. But our business, what we are focusing at the moment, so we operate in the e-commerce space. I'm not sure if you have you ever had any experience at all in business or
I've worked in sales before, but never e-commerce.
okay. So just to put it simple words. So we operate in the e-commerce platform. So everything is digital based for us. So we have partnership with existing brands. A few of them are very familiar to most consumers. Let's say AT&T, Nike, Adidas, T-Mobile, and also a few exclusive brands focusing specifically on healthcare and beauty. That means that only us have access to attribute or distribute their products. And so that's what we do. However, on the other side, we also focus on expanding, building up a team of like minded people, and we help them to start their own startup. And so for us, that's the purpose of this meeting. So we have something called a selection process. So in that process, we help people to learn about the business model itself and as well as the mentorship, how it will help people to not just learn sales skill, but to actually improve their life. And so you can look at the process as an educational process for you to really get to know everything before you make any decision. And on the other hand, the process on my side for me, my team is to really differentiate the people who are serious versus the people who are just curious. Because for us, a partnership is a big commitment. We don't just teach people, like I mentioned, how to sell or learn about products only. I think those are super easy. You can learn it yourself. But what we commit to help our partners is in all other areas in their life. Let's say communication skills. Let's say time management, priority management. Let's say budgeting, because I think for young people we don't have a problem with learning a new skill, but a lot of us we have maybe a little problem with managing our life and priorities so that we can fit in another thing like a business aside our main career or school or whatnot. And so that's what the process is for. So throughout the process, you will see other things. Let's say the business model, compensation plan, ROI, return on investment, affordability, business, partnership, expectation. So we already broken down those things into different steps. It's a 7-step process so that it doesn't overwhelm people, especially people who don't have a background in business. Because let's imagine you are given a homework in calculus or yeah, let's say calculus, but you haven't tried out or taken algebra before. And so that's why we have the process. So during this process, there will be there will be materials like audios and also meetings online, offline, provided for people to educate themselves. And these come with no cost. I think the only cost that we really charge people is I call it the cost of a good attitude to learn. Because we don't get paid. I don't get paid for doing meetings like this. But I take my time to learn and get to know people because I think when we start a partnership, it's a long-term relationship for me. So I'm willing to take my time to meet up with people and get to know them rather than just get straight into a partnership with somebody who would just start and quit soon. And so that's what the process is for. It's also self-paced. So there's no deadline. It's not a job where or school where you have a deadline for you to finish or move on to a certain step. So this all depends on your schedule and your priority as well. Yeah, so currently I'm working with a lot of candidates in NorCal and also in Seattle. There are similar people like you, like in school. You say you work a part-time job right now, right?
Um, I barber on the side, and I was at a startup earlier this summer, but not anymore.
Okay. So I work with people who are in school and work part-time, and I also work with let's say master students, and there are some professionals, they are IT, they full time 60 hours a week, 9 to 5. So I work around people's schedules. Um, but yeah, I gotta go soon. But it's a really good question. I'm glad you asked this question. I hope I was able to clear out this answer. So if you think this is something that, like I said, it resonates with your value, something that you can set aside a few hours a week to learn more about, um, we can maybe find some other time to meet up and talk more about the next step, or at least about the business itself next time, since it's already a long meeting. But what do you think? Did it answer your question?
Yeah. You answered my question pretty well. Um, like
Um, I'm glad it did. But I will get going first. If you have any more question, feel free to reach out. Amy can maybe leave my contact for you. But yeah, hopefully we get to talk to each other more in the future and maybe meet in person one day too.
yeah, that sounds great. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you today, Andy.
Likewise. Um, Very insightful, interesting questions. I like that she shared her story, and I could definitely relate to some parts as well. Yeah, I've thought I've thought about them before. It's just been a while. Well, I think the end goal for everybody, and I agree with Van, should be what kind of lifestyle you want to have and how you want your relationships to be. Are you going to care about your health? Like these kind of things. Um, this is probably around like when I was graduating high school and I was considering where I wanted to go, what I want to do, what major I want to pick, what job I want to have. And my answer at the time was if I make enough money, then I don't need to worry about those things, which I think is still true to some degree. Like if you make $500,000, then you can invest it into houses or into stock market, and you should be financially free within 5 to 10 years. Um, Seems like Van is on another side of income stream. She is in the e-commerce business and sales and marketing. So yeah, it was nice to see a fresh perspective, I guess. Um, I've heard of it for sure. I think a lot of people have heard about it. Actually, I don't. Right. Just about everyone I talk to is studying to be uh, an electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, computer science major, software engineer. What kind of lifestyle does it give you? I have a question. You cold reached out to me on LinkedIn, so I'm assuming you to other people as well. Why would you spend your time doing that if you're not getting paid? I'm assuming you're not getting paid because Van said she wasn't getting paid either. You build a team, and if I decide to join, then you get a stipend. Yeah, to be honest, I'm glad you reached out, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into exactly. So confusing, it's a bit ambiguous as well. Um, a little bit of spontaneous it for sure, but yeah, I did put a bit of thought into it. Because I've definitely thought about like what I want to do with my future, and I've really been considering like even more these days, like how long I want to be a software engineer for, and whether I want to work at a startup and not get paid as much, or whether I want to start up my own company, because that is an option for me as well. And yeah, I've just been like open to a lot of things as of recent. So I guess I was already in a headspace where I was willing to try new things. So it didn't take too much to get me to join this call. But yeah, to say that I want to commit to joining the business would be stretch, but I definitely am interested and open to learning more, having a couple more meetings, devoting, I don't know, just a couple hours a week to some more calls or learning about the business model. Yeah, I'm curious and I'm interested. I do. I read books semi often. I haven't had much time to listen to podcasts these days, but sure. Give me a second. I haven't had Facebook in like, I'll put it in the chat. I think this should work. Not today. I'm writing a resume for my friend though. I'm writing a friend's resume up for her. So, uh, yeah, thank you guys as well. Bye-bye.